Welcome back, guys, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and as you can see, I'm in my December mentality. Got the hat on, got the hoodie, whatever, just to commemorate, the December streak that the Steelers seem to have. I think we're 12 straight games in December now that we've won. So, just do something a little different as far as apparel. But guys, what a game against the Denver Broncos. I mean, I have my notes here, but I don't even know if I even need to use them. What a game. Let's start off with this. At halftime, I'm telling myself, right around when it was about 27-10, this game is over. This game is over. I don't see how it's possible that the defense is going to stop Osweiler and his troops. Emmanuel Sanders was doing his thing. I mean, at one time, it seemed like they were just running the same passing play over and over and over, and we couldn't stop it. Our secondary blowing assignments. On one of those touchdowns to Emmanuel Sanders, they said that it appeared that more people blitzed than were supposed to. I mean, all kinds of mental mistakes all over the field. And that secondary that we've all been, feeling the same way about this year started to really show its ugly head, and I thought it was over. Then I don't know what happened at halftime. I have no clue. I don't know if Tomlin kicked some butts or whatever you want to call it, but those guys came out more inspired. They appeared to be playing more man defense, getting up in the receivers' faces a bit more, a little more aggressive up front, and things started to happen. And then, of course, our offense, Big Ben. I mean, what else? What more can you say about that offense? And Antonio Brown putting up 16 receptions for 189 yards. It's what I've said before, man. I am convinced right now. I don't think there's a defense in the league that can stop my Pittsburgh Steelers. I just don't believe it. I don't think there is a defense that can stop that offense when they click. In the first half, Denver did a great job. Very impressive. They was putting some pressure on Ben. They were covering receivers for the most part, and we were having trouble. But, like any veteran, quarterback or, group that has been together for a while, they figured it out. We started doing some things a little differently, and it started opening up. Antonio Brown ends Chris Harris Jr.'s streak. They had said that he had not given up a touchdown in 2 years, which is amazing in my opinion. He puts 2 up on him yesterday. Hey, like I said, the offense is not what I worry about. The defense is, and not even the whole defense, the secondary. The secondary is the part of the team that I'm a little concerned about. But like I said, man, I don't know what happened. I don't know what got into him in that second half. I don't know what Keith Butler did as far as, the coordinator. Those guys turned it around. And if they can offer that kind of defense, I don't expect them to be perfect. No defense is perfect. But I'm telling you right now, if the Steelers secondary can somehow play, at least 80% of the time, if they can play like they played in that second half against the Broncos, the Steelers could be very dangerous. We could be very dangerous. We could be a very dangerous team in the playoffs if we can muster that type of decent defensive effort week in and week out. I don't know if we can. So I still don't know how far we could go if we get into the playoffs right now. We did overtake the Jets, even though we're both 9-5 because of tiebreakers and like opponents or what have you. So right now, we are in the 6th spot. We have a good opportunity right now. If we win out, we could possibly, overtake the Broncos or the Bengals, depending on what they do as far as their losses and things like that. So we still got something to play for. We got the Ravens coming up. Of course, the Ravens are not playing that well in terms of record. It's still the Ravens. It's still in Baltimore, so we can't have any letdowns. Then we finish up in Cleveland. Again, can't have any letdowns. But I think, like I said before, I still think a 10-6 record would get us in the postseason. So even if we drop another game, I think if we can win 1 out of 2, depending on what else is going to happen in the league, I expect, the Jets will probably lose a game or 2. They got the Patriots as well as the Bills. Then I feel like there's still the opportunity there for us to get in. But I would love for us to have a home playoff game. That we definitely need. We desperately need a game at home. I think that's what we need. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out the next 2 weeks. It's just great, man, to see that this type of excitement, with 2 weeks left, it's still pressure football. So I love that. Let me look at my notes here, man. I don't think there's much more I need to add. Oh, there's a few things. Cody Wallace and Alejandro Villanueva. Hopefully I said that correctly. I'm going to say this about Cody Wallace. He did give up a bad penalty, but I like that tenacity. I like the demeanor that he offered when Antonio Brown seemed to get hit with somewhat of a nasty shot, and he comes in over the pile after the fact, knocks the guy out. I love that aggression. I just, you do definitely have to think and, use your head a little bit. You don't want those type of things to happen too often, but I love that. And Villanueva, I will say this. He's done well this year, but I have to mention this. He got exposed a little bit yesterday. Granted, he was going against probably two of the best pass rushers in the league, and a DeMarcus Ware and a, what's my man's name, Von Miller. But he definitely got exposed as far as his size, his height. Seeing where the speed is just too much for him. If you get a nice speed rush on him, being 6'8", 6'9", or whatever he is, lateral movement is not quick enough. And you can see a lot of times, guys are taking advantage of him. I think even, I think Shane Ray actually got a sack as well, or, at least got a pressure on Ben. Same situation. So you kind of can see what it takes to beat him. So his size could be, somewhat of a hindrance. But let's remember a guy like Max Starks. He was a big, tall guy like that as well, and he was an outstanding tackle for us. So I like Villanueva, man. I just wanted to point that out. Cody Wallace definitely has to, watch himself as far as, not injury, but penalties and things like that. And Villanueva definitely needs to work on his lateral quickness. But I wanted to bring that up real quick because I know we got some situations in the offseason coming up. Kelvin Beachum. I'm thinking right now, the way Villanueva is playing, hey, maybe we don't re-up that contract depending on how much it costs. Because, we definitely got some situations coming up soon. I know DeCastro will be coming up pretty soon, a year or two. So from what I've been seeing and reading, we definitely got some off-season, transactions we need to start thinking about in the head. Whether it's this season or the next off-season, there's some things we need to start thinking about as far as cap and salary and things like that. So I've been very pleased for the most part with the O-line this year, even without Pouncey and Beachum. These guys have played very well, much better than I would have expected. And we've gone against some of the best defenses in the league. And that's what's, so impressive about the offense, the offensive line and the passing game and all of that. We've played Denver, the #1 defense. We played Seattle, put up points on them. Even though we came up short, our defense couldn't hold up. But we put up points on those boys. Put up points on Cincinnati the last time. Put up points on Arizona. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm telling you, man, and at first I didn't think this, and I'm still a little leery about the secondary as far as consistency. But I have to be honest, man. If we can muster some type of defense that's very similar to what we saw in the second half against the Broncos, if we can do that on a more consistent basis, this Pittsburgh Steelers is definitely a dangerous team. I would love the opportunity to be able to play New England again. Would we win it? I don't know. But I would love for this unit, now deep in the season, to go up against New England and, see what we're made of. But, that's speaking way ahead. Who knows if it's even going to go that far. Like I said last week, man, I'm very proud of the team, seeing what we're able to do. This was a team coming in this year where no one really knew what the expectations were as far as defense and all of that. Toughest schedule. And we've proven that we can play with anybody. And that's very encouraging, for the years to come. But was there anything else I forgot, guys? Let me see here. No, that's about it. That's about it. Now, a couple of things I did want to note. If you look at the game like I do, I look at it from every aspect, every standpoint. Guys like Stephon Tuitt on certain plays, and even Stephen McClendon on a couple of those runs. When we can get that type of penetration, I'm telling you, man, all we need to do is shore up that secondary. And we can get back to those days when the Pittsburgh Steelers was in the top 5, top 10, even the top 3 defenses in the league. I think we can get there because, we are number 5 against the run. But, we're 31st against the pass, which who would ever have thought that would happen? But We got to get that together, man. I think next year the draft coming up was going to be very interesting. You know, I'm still looking forward to see what Sinquez Golson is going to offer us. I think he's going to be a nice slot guy. I think maybe we keep Brandon Borkin as well, you know, and then maybe look for some more guys in the draft. You know, I think Cortez Allen, I don't know what's going to go on with him, man. You know, he has that lingering knee issue. I don't know. You know, a guy like Antoine Blake, he's played well as far as interceptions this year, but do you keep him? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think maybe we start looking in another direction. I like Cockrell. Cockrell looks like a guy that's going to get better and better. And, of course, William Gay. You know, William Gay has played very solid this year, especially now when we've moved him to the outside. You know, that last play, that, you know, last fourth down play against the Broncos, that was a beautiful coverage. Beautiful coverage because the guy actually had a step. I think that was Emmanuel Sanders. He had the inside position, you know, on this side, the ball's coming, and then William Gay is able to reach around and knock it out. I mean, great coverage. So, you know, we got some things to talk about, guys, but let's take it 1 week at a time. We got the Ravens this week. We got to go to Baltimore. I say we go in there. Hopefully we can take care of business. No knock on the Ravens, but, you know, everybody knows the Ravens are not the strongest this year. They don't have all of their weapons. It is what it is. It was a very close game in Heinz Field with Michael Vick. We could have very well won that game if he throws it a little lower and get that 4th and 1. But now I think, you know, we usually split these games. Let's go to Baltimore and let's get ours. And like I said, hopefully we can finish it out in Cleveland, and we'll see. We'll see what this Steelers team is made of come the postseason if we're able to get in there. But all right, guys, that's all I got for you this week. You know, definitely leave your thoughts, leave your comments, and, you know, happy holidays to everybody. You know, I know not everyone celebrates Christmas, but if you are someone who does, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Have a nice, safe, and happy holiday. And we'll be back at you guys again next week. All right? Until next time, let me know what you think. Here we go. Once again, guys, thanks for coming by. And if you want to interact with me live, head on over to Sim Standard Radio every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, along with Smitty and Azure Effect. The call-in number for the show is down in the description. Now, of course, for more content, go ahead and click the link above. And before you go, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. All right, guys. Until next time, lights out.